It's your boy, Jeff Jones.
You know me, back from surgery, the upset specialist, Thomas Boykin.
Yeah. Always and forever. Who? Mr. Mike Jones.
And this is 234 Sports Talk. Fellas, let's talk about it. Let's
Let's
talk
get at
about
it.
All right, NFL wild card. Fellas, it's with some shockers. I just got to be honest. It was some shockers. When we look at the results, Eagles, Buccaneers. Buccaneers came out on top. Steelers and Bills. Bills came out on top. Lions and Rams. Lions came out on top. Packers, my Packers, might I add, and the Dallas Cowboys. My Green Bay Packers came out on top, big time. Fellas, as we looked at the results of these games from the wild cards, what do you guys think about this and what stood out the most?
What stood out the most is what I've always said from Jump Street. The Cowboys always choking under pressure. Ford can't play under pressure. Ford can't perform under pressure. It's fact. It's the way it is. It's what it is. And all the people that talk about Micah Parsons is this animal that can change games was non-existent against the Packers. So eventually now teams have found out a way to neutralize Micah Parsons. Now Micah Parsons if he's that great a defender, he's gonna have to find a way to adapt his game to be relevant or to stay relevant. But kudos to the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love played a whale of a game. I mean, a whale of a game. And the running game was very pertinent in the game. So it's not like they were just throwing the ball all over the place. And actually, they ran the ball down Dallas's throat, which was shocking. But then again, not because their run defense was horrible this year. I mean, even the Arizona Cardinals ran it down their throat, and they beat the Cowboys doing the same formula. So apparently, running the football is a problem for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if you look at the score of that game, the score was not indicative of how that game was played. I think Green Bay actually pulled the plug a little early than what they should have. And they made a couple cheap touchdowns here and there because second string scoring and they playing their starters on their second string. Yeah, you're going to make a little run, but it's okay. Bottom line, into the game, you lose. Simple. My Steelers, we have chances to win that game. A couple questionable calls down the stretch with PI and holding. We made Josh Allen look really good running the football, which had me scratching my head big time. Like, dude, what are you doing? A couple of touchdowns one of the touchdowns they scored, Minka hit him high and the guy bounced off low to the ground, spun around and ran the touchdown. I'm like, dude, when did we get away from fundamental tackling? When did we get away from hit people, wrap them up, take them to the ground? I don't know, but we'll see. My big winner, who I'm proud of, really, other than the Packers, is C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Excellent win against the Browns. They played very well on both sides of the football. They didn't really let Cleveland get anything off, really, and even when they got down early, they bounced back and shut Cleveland down pretty much. And Stroud pretty much did what he wanted to do. So kudos to them. I think the best game of the whole weekend, Lions and Rams. The most entertaining game the whole weekend, with the Lions winning a squeaker 24-23. You can't ask for a better playoff game from two teams laying it out on the line. And the Lions, which haven't won a playoff game in 32 years. Think about that. They haven't won a playoff game in 32 years. So they're about due to do some things. And their receiver core and running core their offense is very, very formidable. So kudos to them. What you got on them, Jay?
Yeah, I'm gonna tackle the Green Bay Dallas Cowboy ball game. I was very shocked at the results of that game. The Cowboys, their problem was playing away from, their home field. And, and that wasn't the case. Cowboys, they basically put an egg on the scoreboard, if you ask me. And like you said, Thomas, that game, the final score was not indicative of how that game was played. That game, although the score was closer than, what, people, if you didn't see the game, but that game was really, it was not competitive at all. And I'm very shocked at the Cowboys, man. You know, all season, you know, my thing is, you played a win a championship game. I mean, win the Super Bowl. But man, they have to really concentrate on just trying to win a playoff game. They keep dropping the ball, man, every year, man, when it comes to playoff. I'm thinking about the coach, what's his name, Jim Mora?
Yep.
The playoffs?
Yes, sir.
The playoffs? We're talking about the playoff. Yeah. The playoff. And the Cowboys, man, they find a way, man, to just stink it up on playoff day. And, like you said, heads off to Green Bay. Maybe Green Bay is getting hot at the right time. I don't know if the storyline is if it was more about Green Bay winning that ball game or Dallas fumbling that ball game away. But either way it goes, man, congratulations to Green Bay. They got a tough game ahead of them. And as far as the Cowboys, man, they aren't making any changes from at least from Jerry Jones' standpoint as far as coaching. So we'll probably see the same Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs again next season. Same result, one and done, or just make it going home. But yeah, man. Congratulations, Jeff. Your Green Bay Packers, man, they did it. They pulled it off. They shocked me on that one.
I'll tell you what's even more impressive with that game is that Dallas was averaging almost 38 points a game at home?
Yes, sir.
38 points a game at home, and you get shut down completely at home.
Well, what you guys think that was? Do you think that was just a lack of focus, or you think they were just overconfident? What? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
From my point of view, I think, first of all, they overlooked Green Bay. I think they overlooked Green Bay. They already had their eggs in the basket. They was thinking about Las Vegas. They was thinking about going out and playing 49ers. Their focus was on that. So when Green Bay showed up, and if you hadn't been paying attention lately, a few games before that, Green Bay had been getting hot. So when I watched Green Bay, and I said, man, the way these guys played when they played the Vikings, when they played the Bears, I said, man, these guys are starting to look like they're pulling it together. So when this game came, at first I thought, man, Dallas scored 38 points at home, man. I don't know, they might win this game. I started looking at this thing. I said, you know what? If you look at Green Bay is a nightmare matchup for the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because we can run the ball. Why? Because our defense can get at the quarterback. And I said, man, if Jordan Love can keep his composure and our defense can get at Dak and get him rattled, I said, man, we can win this game. We can win it. So that's what it all was, man. Green Bay was a nightmare matchup for the Dallas Cowboys. But everybody's talking about Dallas dropping the ball. Now you got to talk about them boys in the back.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
I hear you. Yeah, you definitely have to give Green Bay their props, man.
They came
Like
in
you
prepared.
said, right? Yeah, they was prepared. They had a game plan, and like you said, they were a matchup problem, for Dallas because a team scoring averaging 38 points at home. Yeah, Green Bay did something, and they made Micah Parson a non-factor. Non-factor.
Yeah, he was not. He was not at all a threat at no part in that game. But like I said, the Packers came into that game very prepared. You could tell the first drive down the field that they were prepared. That coach had them prepared. When we get the ball, this is the game plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to march down the field. We're going to score a touchdown right off the rip. And they did just that. And then when they came out and did it again a second time, I'm like, these boys is in trouble. These boys are legitimate trouble. Said, now you're going to put Dak in a position where Dak has to win the game, and Dak can't do that.
Hey, but you know what though, Thomas and Jeff, man, sometimes I'm like this, man, in life. If I know that you ain't about nothing, I mean, why waste my time? And honestly, the Cowboys did us a favor. They didn't waste our time. They went ahead and got themselves on up out that playoff because
Yes,
they
sir.
wasn't gonna do
Yes,
anything
sir.
going forward. They wasn't gonna beat Detroit. They wasn't gonna beat San Francisco, and they probably wasn't gonna beat the Eagles. That's just how the Cowboys are built. So hey, thank you, Cowboys, for saving me some time and having to watch you. Okay.
Hey,
And I got a message to those Dallas Cowboy fans. Why are you burning all your gear? I mean, you gonna buy the stuff again. You gonna expect something different next season. You gonna get the same thing. So you be doing the same thing next season, burning your gear. So stop it.
definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Not happening. You got to change the. At some point, you got to change the equation to get a different answer.
Yeah.
But fellas, I found something interesting with that game. Dak threw for over 403 yards. 403 yards. You don't see oftentimes when the quarterback throws for over 400 yards and lose the game.
That's because them 400 yards was a falsetto. Those 400 yards came against. If you go back and look at when Dak threw for 400, it was when Green Bay called off the dogs and put the second and third string in. That's when he threw for 400.
But look, also, when you're down like that, you have to throw. You can't just run the ball. You down 27-0, you can't run the ball. You got to throw the ball. So, yeah, his stats were padded because of that. It was not because he was just dissecting the defense. They had laid off, man. They was playing like prevent defense almost in the secondary. So
I'm going to tell you a turning point in that game. Well, I'm going to tell you a fact that in that game, Dallas should never have scored the first half, period. They should have never scored at all the first half, period. If you go back and look at with a minute and 40 seconds, Green Bay's linebacker drops an interception in the middle of the end zone. That's already a precursor. They're not supposed to score this half. And if it wasn't for a defensive penalty, my quarterback 4, who's supposed to be that dude, throws the ball short of the goal line. Your guy gets tackled. Time is supposed to expire. Instead, they call a defensive penalty, which gives them a chance to get a touchdown. But again, they're not supposed to score the first half at all. This game was supposed to be a shutout the first half.
And the false horse collar, they called that
blew me. That blew me. That guy tackled him by the top of the shoulder
It's
pad.
clean. It's
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah. And they still called him for a horse caught him. What? I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it should have actually been about 27 to zip at half. It should have been, if not more.
Oh, yeah. The play where they got Dallas to jump off sides, and they were like third and 4, 3rd and 5 after like 6, and they could have got the first down at the 1. How come that penalty didn't result in a first down?
He's trying to help the Cowboys out.
Fellas, what do you think about the other game we didn't discuss? The Chiefs and the Dolphins. What do you guys think about that game?
Well, we found out that the track meet don't like cold weather. The old saying in the Big Ten, and you know this, Jeff, you can run 4.2 all day when it's hot, but you can't run 4.2 when it's cold. 4.2, 4.2, you're going to pull up. As cold as it was down there in Kansas City, trying to run a 4.2 in that is a hamstring waiting to pop.
Oh, man. Hey, but look. See, Miami has no one to blame but themselves. See, that's why it's important to win those games in the regular season that you're supposed to win, so you can get home field advantage and you don't have to play. Exactly. You don't have to run that truck meet in a brutal cold. You feel me? Exactly. So it's got to be a learning curve for them. Hey. This year right here, it was a great season for Miami. You know what I'm saying? They tasted some success more so than they have in recent history. And so they just got to build off of it, man. But Kansas, man, just, man, they conditioned for this time of year. Although they're not playing like they have been in previous years, throwing up a lot of points, but they still, can get it done in the postseason. So, Kansas is going to be a hard out for anyone to play against. So, but I don't know. This Kansas team doesn't seem to be the same Kansas team from previous years. So it's going to be interesting going forward to see how they do in the playoffs.
The other game that we did mention was I have never seen a Philadelphia Eagles team miss so many tackles in one half. It blew my mind. I'm like, dude, again, what happened to fundamental tackling? What happened to wrap up, take the guy down to the ground next play? These guys are predicated on, I'm going to make really, really hard contact and they're going to go down. These guys done got used to that. You can make really hard contact. I'm still going forward. Heck, some of the times these guys hit them real hard, knock them forward, which I don't get that part either. But okay, that's what you want to do. But the Eagles also laid a gigantic egg. Gigantic.
Yeah.
They made Baker Mayfield look like a stud, dude. They made Baker Mayfield look like a stud. I'm like, really? Really? That's what we're doing now? A 9-8 team come in and take you down like you just nothing. Like you started the season 10-1 and you just some bums off the field. No. That was mind-boggling to me.
And listen to Thomas, man. Like you said, I've never seen, like last year, and maybe we got very spoiled with their offensive and defensive line. I mean, last year they was blowing people off the ball on the offensive side, and the defensive side, man, it was like you could not penetrate that defensive line, even in secondary. It just seemed like, man, like you said, man, you can never underestimate good coaching. They changed some coaching, in the off season, and man, it sure showed the difference in the coaching, man. Either that or the guys got the big head like, yo, we gonna be there. We just fell short of the Super Bowl, but we are the Eagles. We can just show up. Man, and I was watching, man, Hurts, some of his throw. He was rushing. He was rushing like he would get the ball and he would just throw. He ain't even looking at the receiver, nothing. I mean, he should have had a bunch of interceptions in that ball game. I'm very disappointed in the Eagles. Seemed like they got to bickering a little bit. I know AJ Brown, he got to bickering a little bit kind of late in the season about, I don't know what he was bickering about. I don't know if he was bickering because he wasn't getting the ball, but Jalen Hurts, he haven't been getting much time back there in the pocket, man. So but it was still a shocker. We talking about Tampa Bay, like you said. Um, they had a quarterback, man, and Baker Mayfield. They dug him up out the grave because he was he was he was about an inch away from being like Johnny Manziel out the league, and he come in there looking like Tom Brady against the Eagles, man.
I'll tell you this too. Philly going in. You never want to go into the playoffs on a losing skid. They went into the playoffs losing 5 out of 6.
Wow.
So you never, ever, as an organization, as a team, you never want to go into a playoff set on a negative. You got to go in or try to go in on some positive momentum to help shift your team's momentum going forward. But when you just lose that many in a row, and then you go into a playoff game thing, well, we can turn it on when we want to turn it on. No, you can't. And teams are not going to let you turn it on when you think you can turn it on. It's just not going to happen. They're going to coach it up, and they're going to be like, well, their weakness is their confidence, and they don't have no confidence right now. So let's take advantage of them not having no confidence and get after them. And that's exactly what they did, got after.
Man, you know what? That whole division, Dallas, Philadelphia, the Giants, they was a big fraud, man. At the beginning of the season, man, I mean, they had us all fooled. They had us fooled, man, and and all of them, man. They just, man, I just have no words for the Eagles and the Cowboys, man. They need a butt whooping.
Now, from what I'm understanding, the Commanders are looking for a head coach now, and I was talking to a friend of mine that's a diehard Commanders fan, and I told him what they need to do is move Bieniemy up from offensive coordinator to head coach. Because you could already see the culture change happening with the offense, with him taking over the offense. You can already see the culture change. So why not institute the culture change all over the whole team? Move that man up to head coach and let him work. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fellas, when we look at, speaking of the Cowboys and the Eagles, where do you guys, and of course Jerry decided that he's going to keep Mike McCarthy, but with the Eagles, where do you guys think they go from here? The Eagles and the Cowboys, where do you think they go from here for next season?
I think the Eagles have to reestablish that they're confident in what they do. Right now, they're not confident with what they do. They went into that game doubting themselves, doubting each other, and it showed on the final score of the game. They have to find some kind of way to get the switch to get turned back on. Right now, that switch is off and it's staying off. So basically, you ended the season losing 6 out of 7, which is unheard of from a former Super Bowl runner-up the previous year. You would think they would have went on a bigger run. You would think. But we'll see what happens with them. I think they'll be back. I think they got to figure a couple of things out and they'll be back. The Cowboys, on the other hand, the Cowboys, hate to say it, but the Cowboys will be back again next year. They'll be back. They'll be back. They'll be back making another playoff run again next year. They will. I guarantee it. They're going to make another run. The problem is you got to change some things in the playoffs. You got to ramp up your whole intensity, your whole point of focus when you play a playoff game. You can't concentrate on the Super Bowl. You got to concentrate on the team that's right in front of you. If you can't concentrate on that team in front of you, you're going to make an early exodus like you did this year, like you did the previous year, and like you did the year before that. So we got to understand there's something that's got to, the dynamic for playoffs has to change. Point blank, plain and simple.
Yeah, Jeff, I think I kind of echo what Thomas said, but like with the Eagles, man, their coaching staff have got to reevaluate the players on that team. They got to reevaluate the players on that team, and they have to see actually what the players do good. I mean, they got to look at the tape from last season and see what they did good. Because sometimes, man, if it ain't broke, why do I come in and fix something that's not broke? You know, even though I'm a coach and I have my own style, I still got to put my guys in the best position to succeed. And all the talent is still there in Philadelphia, so that has not changed. Now, I hope they don't go and get stupid and then decide that, hey, we're gonna start getting rid of players and stuff. I mean, yeah, you get rid of players if you know that they didn't put forth an effort, but you know, they got to do some soul searching and get in there and, like I said, get guys in the right position. And then as far as the Cowboys, I mean, since they didn't make a coaching change, I don't know. I mean, they'll be back. Like Thomas said, they'll be back. But they'll be back with one game in the playoffs, and that'll be it. That's it.
All right, fellas. Well, let's look at you know, this NFL playoff. Let's look at it. What we got going on as far as the games that are coming up this weekend. And let me get your take on this divisional round. You know, what do you guys think about what's going to take place? Let's look at the Texans playing against the Baltimore Ravens. What do you guys think will happen in that game? What's your predictions for that one?
I'll say this. I'm not going to disrespect Baltimore. Baltimore has a very, very solid football team. The Texans also have a very solid football team. But if we're gonna go hard knocks to hard knocks, you got to look at the fact that the Baltimore Ravens has dismantled high power offense and high power defense. So my edge, and they're playing in Baltimore. So my edge I would give to Baltimore. However, if you think CJ Stroud is going to go in and just lay down and not give you no effort, you're mistaken. CJ Stroud is going to make this Baltimore Ravens defense sweat a little bit. I think their offensive play calling and their offensive weapons will make them do some reevaluation on a couple of things. But I still got the Ravens winning this football game. What you got on them, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely, Thomas. I definitely like Baltimore this year. I definitely like the offensive structure. I like the play calling. I like how Jackson is operating. He's operating at a very high level. You know, they have a brand new offensive coordinator, which was Georgia Bulldogs national championship offensive coordinator, which he's been around for a long time, NFL, college, whatever. He definitely know how to call plays. So you definitely see Lamar Jackson benefiting from his coaching and guidance. And like you said, the defense is Baltimore. It's not the Ray Lewis defense, but it is a heck of a good defense. So having said that, man, and home field advantage, I kind of give that edge to Baltimore. And like you said, I don't take anything away from Houston, Texas. They are a program that is definitely on the rise. Coach is definitely getting it done there. They shocked me how they won that ball game last weekend. And CJ Stroud, man, he just getting better. He's gaining so much confidence. But however, they are still young, and I think they may be a piece or two away from actually getting, advancing a little further. I mean, maybe if they was playing another team, which they shocked me beating Cleveland. Cleveland had a heck of a defense. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Houston make it shock me. I would be surprised. I mean, let me put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled off a shocker. But right now, my gut is telling me Baltimore is going to win this ball game.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree. I think the young guys coming in, and they're playing really good, pretty good football. But I think that the Ravens going to be a little bit too much. And then having that home field advantage, getting them guys outside of that stadium, in them elements, I think that's going to play a factor too. So yeah, I like the Ravens to win this one. All right, fellas, my Green Bay Packers. Can they do it again against the elite 49ers? What do you guys think about this game?
Well, I'll say this. Jordan Love has performed above and beyond expectations for this season, especially getting a young group of guys into the playoffs, take them down to Dallas, win a football game handily, and come out with a lot of confidence. Kudos to them for that. However, this game they're playing this weekend is against one of the most elite defenses in the league. Frisco's defense is going to get after them, and they're going to present some challenges. It's going to be about how Love makes these adaptations to what San Francisco is going to bring with your Bosa's and all these cats coming after him. We'll see what happens. And at the same token, we're going to see if Green Bay is able to get the same pressure on Brock Purdy. We've all seen Brock Purdy is not real great under pressure either. So it's just going to be a battle of whose defense is going to incorporate their will in the game. I have to give the slight edge to the 49ers in this game, being as they're playing at home. But I do believe Green Bay is going to make them earn it, and Green Bay is going to make them sweat a whole lot to get it. What you got on it, MJ?
Well. My mind, my body, my soul. Hey, I'm going to tell you, at the beginning of the season, I thought it was Philadelphia Eagles world in the NFL. I did. However, San Francisco, they changed my mind quickly thereafter, a few games in the early in the season. San Francisco is that dog. San Francisco is that beast. San Francisco is that dude. No disrespect, Jeff, with Green Bay. They gotten hot. They look, oh man, they looking good. But I don't see them having a chance against the 49ers. I see it as a blowout. And I'm just saying, man, Green Bay had a good season. My bad on that, Jeff.
Well, well, well. As my good friend always say, when the Vikings beat the Packers. Well, well, well. Well, let me tell you something, fellas. I'm gonna tell you like this. I respect the Niners. Matter of fact, I root for the Niners when the Packers ain't playing. The Niners are my second favorite team. But when you look at the Niners, they got a lot of weapons. They got a lot of weapons. But Green Bay has a lot of weapons, young weapons. And the thing that you know, Thomas, you talked about this. Whoever can get the defense that can get to the quarterback and rattle the quarterback, I think that's the team that's going to win this football game. But see, Green Bay has nothing to lose. All the pressure, just like it was on the Dallas Cowboys, is now on these 49ers. The 49ers, they have all the pressure on them. Green Bay has no pressure. All Green Bay got to do is show up and play the game. And I believe that my Green Bay Packers, now I'm the upset specialist. I believe that my Green Bay Packers, my Green Bay Packers is going to go in there and shock the world. They about to shake up the world like Muhammad Ali. And I got my Packers winning this one in the close one.
Well, listen, Jill. So what you're telling me is, I mean, who do you think right now is the best team in the NFL right now?
I think the Baltimore Ravens is the best team in the NFL.
Okay, I get that. So, okay, I hear you, man. I hear you. We gonna see. We gonna see.
I thought it was the Niners, but Baltimore showed the Niners that they wasn't a big dog. So right now, you gotta say Baltimore.
Yeah.
That game was shocking because it wasn't even close. I mean, what Baltimore did to them wasn't even funny. They beat them like, give your lunch money, punk.
Yeah. that was a Debo beatdown.
Right. What you got on my 40, homie?
I just chain Debo coming.
Like, what?
Man.
But look, Jeff, I'm going to say it like this too, man. I kind of look at Green Bay kind of like in that boat with Houston Texans. You know, I think they're young and Love. He's definitely he's gaining so much experience with this playoff. You know, and that team as a whole. You know, I just don't think they are ready yet. I think they're not ready, and that's the only. I think the youth part is what's holding me back, and with them, could they possibly win? Yeah, anything is possible, but not this Sunday.
Well,
Saturday.
We shall see. We shall see.
Yes, we shall.
All right. Fellas, what do you think about the Buccaneers versus the Lions? The Buccaneers versus the Lions.
I think the Buccaneers were the benefactor of a gift with Philly. They looked the gift horse in the mouth and took the gift. So I'd have done the same thing. If I look a gift horse in the mouth and they say, here, take the gift, I'm going to take the gift. However, there lies the end of their trip. The end of their trip comes this weekend. I believe the Detroit Lions are going to let Tampa Bay come into town, and they're going to dismantle Tampa Bay easily. Not a game like you had with Sean McVay coaching the Rams, where you got organized offense and great weapons all over the place. No, sir. This game will not be close. Tampa Bay is getting ready to get shut all the way down. The Detroit Lions is going to shut them all the way down. Give me Detroit in this one.
Whoa. I tell you what, man. Had it been any other team that didn't have Baker Mayfield on it, man, Baker Mayfield is I don't know, man. Before I would say Tampa had no shot. But Baker, man, I don't know. He's willing that team, man. And I agree. Detroit will win this ball game, but not in the same fashion that you're talking about, Thomas. I think Tampa makes Detroit sweat it out. I think Detroit is going to have to win this thing. They're going to have to win it to win it. So I look for it to be a close game, but I'm giving Detroit the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Mike Jones. I don't see it being a blowout because for the simple fact that Detroit, they give up a lot of points. Their defense is kind of, I mean, they really just go up and down the field. A lot of teams go up and down the field on their defense, and their offense do the same thing with their opponents. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I like Detroit in this game because I think Detroit is just a little bit better, and I think being at home too, they're gonna pull this one out. I got Detroit by 10. Give me Detroit by 10. All
That's
right,
fair.
fellas. How about the Chiefs and the Bills? It's going down in Buffalo. Mahomes had to come up out of KC. Now he got to do it in Buffalo on the road. What do you guys think about this game?
Personally, I don't think Mahomes is scared at all. I think Mahomes is eager for the challenge to show that he can win a playoff game outside of Kansas City. Don't get it twisted. Buffalo is going to play hard. Buffalo is going to get away with a lot of holding and a lot of PI, and they're going to have to deal with it. Same thing my Steelers went through last week, and a lot of holding, a lot of PI. Here's the difference. Kansas City is not going to make Josh Allen look like a super stud that can run through people at all costs. Not happening. They are going to make Josh Allen, if they win this game, they're going to make Josh Allen beat him with his arm. Not with his legs, not with running a football, with him throwing the football. And if that comes down to that, the Kansas City Chiefs will win this football game. Because without undoubted question, Mahomes is a magician with a football. He can make anything happen with a football. So the upset specialist is picking the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game on the road. What you going on with MJ?
Yeah, I'm with you on this, Thomas. I think here's the deal. I don't trust Josh Allen. I just don't trust him, man. Every time I sit and jump on that bandwagon, that boy throw 4 or 5 interceptions, man. I look honestly to be real with you. I actually look for Kansas. This is gonna be the last game this season that they put up big numbers offensively, and I think they win this game handily against the Bills. And we're gonna look for a showdown between them and the Ravens. Looking for a blowout in this. Kansas City wins this.
Well, look like I'm on an island by myself, Mr. Boykin and Mr. Jones. Look like I'm on an island by myself. I tell you what. When we look at Kansas City, they just haven't been themselves. Mr. Jones, we talked about this a little earlier. They haven't been themselves this season. And they won some squeakers. They lost some games too. I think that the Buffalo Bills are a thorn in their side. This is a team that we know that in the playoffs, we know that these two could really go at it. These two really go at it in the playoffs. Now Buffalo is at home. I think Buffalo is going to shock these guys. I think Buffalo going to win this one in a close one. Give me Buffalo by 7. Buffalo by 7.
Mm.
The
Okay.
other thing I'm going to mention in this game that Mr. Jones seems to forget is that the Kansas City Chiefs so far this postseason haven't given up a whole lot of points. I'm just saying. Their defense is a little overlooked.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, Thomas. I think Kansas actually shuts down
Absolutely.
Buffalo.
Absolutely.
And I think Kansas is this is gonna be the one time this season, I believe you're gonna see Kansas put up some big numbers, man. But this is gonna be the last time it happens this season because Baltimore is gonna shut them down the following week. Just saying.
well, fellas, we shall see what takes place because it's going down this weekend, no doubt. It's going down.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been a real one, fellas. We talked about it. Till the next time, this is 234 Sports Talk. Want you to like, want you to subscribe. Don't cost you nothing to push that button. Want you to look for us. We about to start going live on TikTok. Want you to look for us on TikTok. We're going to be in the building on TikTok. Want you to come and interact with us. Or you can catch us right here on YouTube. You can catch us on TikTok. You can catch us on Instagram. You can catch us on X. Until the next time, 234 Sports Talk, we are out of here.
Peace.
Peace.
Yes, sir. It works.
It works. It works if you work.
It works if you work the system, baby. It's working.
Oh, Lordy.